UFC Vegas 70. The main event was about all we have time to talk about. Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann. This is a light heavyweight bout. Two fighters who have very good records and very different styles. Patrick is our resident UFC expert, having been a prize fighter himself. So Patrick, I want to start here with you. What do you see in this main event matchup between these two light heavyweights?
Well, I see two entirely different styles. Krylov is a very plodding, go forward, in your face kind of guy. If you know about Fedor Emelianenko, he's got that kind of striking with his hands, where he's got these, and forgive me for actually getting into it because I get very dramatic when I do this. He's got these looping, snapping punches, not necessarily straight punches, whereas Spann, on the other hand, is a straight up, elbows down, straight down the pipe, straight punch striker. And he's nasty. This kid Spann has got the reach, I believe. He's just very long. And as a fighter, he's got a better, as a stand-up fighter, he has better defense. He's much more athletic, so it's more aesthetically pleasing to watch him move, whereas Krylov is more like a bull in a china shop, where he's just going to keep coming and coming and coming, and he's not going to stop. Now, there's one thing that I can tell you about Spann, which is it's shocked me ever since I've been watching him. He sets up using his strikes to essentially get his opponent to shoot on them. A lot of people don't see that. And you don't know this unless you've been in that kind of a situation. When you're getting your face pounded, you think, if I go to the ground, I'm going to be safer, because at least I'm not at the end of this guy's strikes getting my face turned into tapioca. And what happens is this kid has got such unbelievable Spann, I am saying, has such unbelievable shoulder dexterity, and his arms are so long, he can literally catch you in a guillotine front headlock from any position. He's tapped people out using this submission hold that most people would never, ever get caught in, much less tap out to. And he's dangerous from any angle. I think his striking is better, Spann. I think if they keep it standing up, he's just going to keep throwing straight punches right down the pipe on Krylov. I don't think the style works out well for Krylov with his looping, hooking style. But then again, you know, I thought I knew everything last week. So all I can do is just tell you what I see. If I had to make a choice, I would go with Spann.
That's interesting, because Spann is the underdog there in that fight. I guess another interesting thing you said when it comes to Spann's style is his ability to put you in a guillotine chokehold when you're on the ground and you're grappling. What I see mostly from Krylov is that he, I think, prefers to be on the ground grappling. So one of the things I think to look out for in this fight is that Spann gets submissions very quickly. If he's going to win, his fights just don't last that long. So I kind of like Krylov just because I think if he can withstand Spann's approach, especially in that first two rounds, I don't feel as though he can last five. I think after 3 rounds, he might just get tired. And then if you get him on the ground, he might not have as much of that power, but he's a big lumbering fighter with a long reach. That's Spann. But that's interesting that you like him. He's the underdog in this fight. A lot of people are going to take Krylov's experience. Krylov has been battling in the light heavyweight division for a long time. He's 4-4 since rejoining the UFC in 2018. A lot of people like Krylov in this fight, but that's interesting. I haven't heard a lot of talk about Spann on the ground. I hear a lot about his striking ability.
Well, I should say that the guillotine chokes are generally coming in transitions. So they're coming from standing. So, and which is kind of shocking, because most people, you don't see too many guillotine chokes standing, but his reach he uses his reach and his dexterity so well that it's almost as if when someone ducks their head to shoot in for a takedown or they're covering up, he latches that thing on and then drags them to the ground, which then pretty much eliminates your possibility for escaping. Because if you look at many of his guillotine chokes, front headlock chokes, they're on their knees. and he's got the high position over them. He's got the high ground, and he's driving down, and it's exceptionally difficult to get out of that position.
Very interesting. Nate, you got anything?
I mean, so I think for the second week in a row, I'm just like I'm the conditioning guy, I guess. I'm always worried about people's fitness, I guess. And we were worried about it last week, right? And we turned out to be, maybe have something on that. Right. Yeah. So the thing about Spann that Jack sort of touched on, just to throw some numbers out there, 5 fights have ended inside the first round. His last 5 fights for Spann have ended in the first round. A little over 70% of all of his fights in his whole career have ended inside the first round. So I think if you like Spann, you have to like him in the first round, right? So you may as well do something like, if you're looking in the sort of exotics market, if you want to bet Spann to win, why not just take him in the first round at plus 470? Like, don't take this sort of small juice. Just take him at almost 5-1 just to win in the first round. If he gets it done, it's got to be then, right? Otherwise, his conditioning isn't that great. He looks like a guy that slows down quite a bit after the first round, mostly just because it seems like he's not really a fighter that should be fighting at 205 at his size. He's 6'5" and he fights at 205. It seems like he has to cut a lot of weight, and it seems like it hurts his cardio. Patrick could probably, describe the sort of effects of that a little bit more, but that's what it looks like, is that he's just a guy that just sort of gets gassed early because it's just so hard on his body to cut that much weight.
And in his career, so he started at heavyweight and he just wasn't successful. And when he dropped to light heavyweight, he started winning a lot of fights. And then he took a little time off from the UFC, went to some of the regional stuff, came back, I believe. But yeah, so Patrick, that might be a good way to segue into this just a little bit. What is it like trying to cut weight? Does that hurt your cardio? Is Nate right on that?
Well, again, it's all your body type. Nate is absolutely right. If you're cutting to get down to an unnatural weight, it's deadly. I'll give you an example. When the second time that I fought for the world championship and I won, the guy that I was fighting literally at 170 dropped from 200. And he did the drop within 2 weeks because the guy that I was supposed to fight didn't take the fight. He refused to take the fight, who was the defending champion. So they brought him in. For the first round, my opponent was stronger than hell. Second round on, it was as if he wasn't even there. And of course, that's a generality, but Nate is absolutely right. If you've never cut weight and you don't understand anything about dehydration, it will kill you. And I mean, literally kill you. I've been in the hospital twice with dehydration to the point to where I thought I was checking out. And you're cutting weight right before a fight, and then you're loading up the day before. That's also terrible for your body. So if you're not a really experienced weight cutter at a weight that you train at and are used to fighting at, it's really not beneficial for you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So excuse me. It seems like Patrick likes Ryan Spann for this fight. I like Krylov, and Nate.
I like Krylov as well. But if you want to bet Spann, I think get him in the first round.
I think you're right about that. Yeah. And I think if you like Krylov, you might want to take a look at some of the overs of the later rounds. I think if he wants to win, he's looking for a decision there, or he's looking to go entire Spann out and get a submission in the 3rd or 4th rounds.